Hi there. Everything's on. Yes. Got a request. I'm going to be doing more of these requests coming in from Discord. Sometimes I can't answer questions like retype really quickly, and there are so many things I want to answer. And what I'm going to be doing moving forward is making sure that I can deal with these questions as in the best way I can, right? So things like I will use video where possible. Because sometimes it's easier for me to do it that way, right? It's much more efficient that way as well. The questions don't get lost. They always get lost, right? You can imagine trying to find something. You try on the forums, you try it anywhere else, you can't really find the information. So I have also um, certain things are going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. I'll be starting a new thread on the forums as well. But naturally, a lot of the questions you guys ask here, they will be featured in exclusive only Discord streams, right? And I will also answer some questions from the SI forums as well. And that will be available to the public. But my focus and priority is always going to be on Discord. So I want to thank everybody for popping in. If you're here, thank you very much. If you're not here, don't worry. This show is going to be made available to you guys once the stream is done. So without further ado, and there will be two parts. There's the first part and the second part because there's a lot to cover here, and my kids are coming home, and I wanted to get this off the ground running quickly. So before they come into the house and go, "Daddy, Daddy," let's get cracking. All right, so we're gonna. Another thing is my. This is 2019. This is with what's that team called? Um, Torino, right? And we're not gonna. My videos moving forward will also not have logos and face packs on them anymore, so that they can be featured on the SI forums. Otherwise, I can't, right? So I'm trying to get as much visibility here as possible. Your support on Patreon actually allows me to continue doing this. Once, hopefully that doesn't go away. I hope. Yeah. All right. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna talk about several formations, right? Okay. The, there are many formations in the game. I'm gonna clear all these slots up, and the best way to explain how to handle different kinds of formations is actually, honestly, to become good in one formation yourself. Hey, Godspurs, how are you? Thanks for popping in on the stream. So when you want to talk about different how to handle different kinds of formations, you first have to learn how to play those formations. Because without learning how to play those formations, you will struggle to break down those formations because you don't know what they're capable of. For example, let's just begin with a very simple formation, right? We create a new tactic. Uh, create our own. No, we let's not create our own style. We're playing against the AI half the time and humans most of the time, right? So we're gonna create a new tactic, and we're just gonna take a fluid counter attack, right? And then we choose the formation. Let's go with a 4-4-2. Okay. Um, no, I was supposed to call for a 4-4-2, 4-4-2 regular. Yeah, we can do this like that. Okay, so we can do a fluid counter attack. I think I want a 4-4. There we go, wing play 4-4. All right. So we got a 4-4-2. Can't stay long. But great idea to stream this. Thanks, man. Thank you, thank you. And I'm happy that you popped in, Darren. This is gonna be a series of videos. There's not just gonna be one video and I'm done with it. No, I'm gonna do a few. But I don't wanna do like all the formations in one video. I'm just gonna I will put notes on the video as to what we covered, right? So on this video it's a 4-4-2, and then I will try and, where possible, include more information on those formations as we go. So I'll just add here into the description of the video as we go what I've covered, right? So 4-4-2. Okay, so we have a 4-4-2 now. The thing about the game is this: The 4-4-2 is probably one of the most balanced formations there are in the game. It is, without a shadow, without the most balanced formation in the game. And the thing about the 4-4-2 is you have to play the 4-4-2 to understand what it's capable of. And the funny thing about it is this: it can play in so many ways that when you're against the 4-4-2, you probably will have to start looking at the pitch to see what the roles and duties are doing, because a 4-4-2 can play as a wing based 4-4-2. It can play as that means it's going down the flanks. We can also have a 4-4-2 that's going through the middle. Last night Barcelona played Atletico Madrid with a 4-4-2 diamond, and they were going through the middle. This is the reason why I wanted to do this video, because I was watching the game last night and I was screaming at Atletico Madrid to go wide, right? Because they were playing a wider system, but they kept whenever they went wide, they exploited the absence of players on the flanks. And throughout the whole match, Barcelona were just going through the middle, right? They had Messi at the tip, right? They had Puig at the tip, and they had Messi in front, and they had another striker in front, and they were playing it through the middle. And every time Barcelona was vulnerable was when they were giving up space on the flanks. So it's important to understand there are some formations that are clearly very straightforward, narrow systems like the 4-4-2 diamond. They're weak down the flanks. You want to attack them down the flanks. So you have to understand your own tactic and see whether your tactic can go wide down the flanks, which is one of the reasons why I like balanced tactics a lot, which give me plenty of options. And this is what the 4-4-2 can offer. The 4-4-2 offers plenty of options, but only to those people who seem to be willing to take chances with roles and duties. Now here we've got a 4-4-2. So when you play a 4-4-2, you've got to understand what it brings to the table. In this particular case, you're looking at two roles here that are going down as wingers. A winger is going to stay wide. A winger on support might drift in a bit. He won't be as punchy as a winger on attack. He won't be looking at making long crosses. A winger on attack is more likely to bomb down the flanks, try and get behind players, maybe driving across, maybe attack the goal. So it's important to know that the shape can be a bit mismatched, right? A winger on attack is bombing in this way. So if you're looking at this tactic, the winger on attack could end up here, which is why the DLF on support is on a whoever designed this tactic knew what he was doing, because with the deep line forward dropping this way, the winger can hook past that DLF and get into the box and become a late arrival. Somebody's arriving very late. So and if you're looking at this tactic, it makes a lot of sense because it's got a ball winning midfielder, there's a winger attack going this way, a winger on support looking to make passes. So his strength is gonna be, because he's on support, he's not punching up very early, he could very well find crosses into the far post. A wingback on attack doing the overlap, and a wingback on support just giving the ball winning midfielder some options. So when you're looking at a tactic, you have to look at the roles and the duties within that tactic to give you an idea of what's going to happen. There are several broad strokes for all tactics. A lot of broad strokes for a lot of tactics. Example, narrow tactics. Any tactic that uses like a diamond, or maybe 3-5-2 or 4-1-3-2, all these are narrow, right? Because they only have one avenue to go down the flanks. A tactic that has only got one avenue to go down the flanks I define it as narrow, because it doesn't have any width. It doesn't offer any other width except for the wing back. This tactic offers us 4 players who can give it width, which makes 4-4-2 tactics very dangerous, especially in the hands of players that know what those roles can do. So when you're playing against a 4-4-2, it's important to understand what roles are being used in the tactic, because the roles themselves will tell you how that tactic is going to play. When you're playing against somebody else, you won't have a chance to see their team instructions, but you certainly will have a chance to see what their roles are, because you see them on the pitch. The challenge when you're playing in a network game is you can't tell by any other indication, all right, that you can't, all you have is the transitions to tell you what's happening. You can't see their form. You can see their formation, but you can't see their roles and duties. In a network safe, if I were to create a network safe, I might even not allow you to send scouts out or track me in the news to see what kind of players I'm buying. So the only other indications would be to take a look at the player on the opposite team and to find out what roles he can play. So that's the only information you have. So when you have a tactic that's coming at you, which is a 4-4-2, you're gonna have to ask yourself a question: is he using wingers? If he's using wingers, then his tactic is very wing-based play, and if he's using wing-backs, it becomes even more wing-based because wing-backs hug the line, wing-backs are aggressive, wing-backs bomb down the flanks. On the left flank of this tactic, with a wing-back on attack bombing down the flanks, overlapping the wing-back winger on support. They've got two overlapping wing-backs, which makes this tactic even more aggressive. So when you're playing a tactic like this, so what do you look for? You look at the formation widget. So when you go into any kind of a game, you go to your inbox, and you will have scouting. I don't know. I don't think I have enough. I just loaded up. I mean, for me, I had to load up saves which are neutral. Yeah, okay, we don't have Cox City. No, okay, we'll have to. Okay, so we'll have to go into this game and see what happens, right? Okay, there we go. Nothing. No scouting reports. Nothing. Okay, so we've got wingbacks. When wingbacks go down the flanks, they will hug the lines, they will give a lot of width, and they will drop in crosses. They will drive down the flanks. If you got fullbacks on support, their starting positions are lower than the wingbacks, so they're not so aggressive. Now, what if there's a wingback and a wide midfielder? That is the most dangerous combination. Because a wingback and a wide, when you see a tactic play, you see the wingback is going to be very close to the wide midfielder. The wide midfielder is going to sit narrow. See, understanding roles is very important. This wide midfielder will be a bit narrower than a winger on the transition from midfield to attack because they come inside. A winger will go outside. So the wingers go out, the wide midfielders go in. Now, if you see the AI using wide midfielders going in, that wingback has got a lot of space to attack down the flanks. And if he's on support, what happens is he goes really close to the wide midfielder, and you get guaranteed crosses. You know, sometimes you watch games and you see people complaining, all these crosses are getting blocked. It's because the game is such that, if really honestly, if there's only one player coming at me and he doesn't have an option to pass the ball, I can block him from crossing the ball 9 out of 10 times. And even with me, a regular Joe playing football, I know how to block him. He's not going to get a cross in. All I got to just make sure is I track him. He's never getting a cross in because I'm fast. See, the thing is, 9 out of 10 times the cross is going to get blocked. The only time the cross will not get blocked is if there's somebody offering him support, which makes wingbacks. So when you're playing against a 4-4-2, you got to be very careful about the flanks. Very careful. The flanks are so a lot of people make the mistake of taking out the midfield. Actually, take out the flanks. Because what you want to do with the 4-4-2 is you want to track the runs of the fullbacks, because these are the guys who can get unimpeded crosses into the game. When they get unimpeded crosses into the game, you are in trouble. So when you play against a 4-4-2, learn how to use opposition instructions to track the runs of the fullbacks. So what you will do is you go into your tactic, and then all you got to do is go to the opposition instructions, right? Come in here and press the fullbacks. What this does is when the wingbacks come in, they'll be pressed, right? This is a zonal instruction that says, you might even see a 2-on-1. And the other thing you can do with your tactic is, depending on the tactic that you are using, this is the important thing here. If you're using a 5-3-2 against a 4-4-2, good luck to you. Good luck to you, okay? Because the 5-3-2 is the one of the best systems in the game to play against a 4-4-2, because the 4-4-2 will have to commit its two wingers into shutting down the wingbacks. In the wing, if the thing is, 5-3-2s are different, right? When you play with a 5-3-2, Why do I keep doing this, man? Come in here. Let's change this to preset. I need to find a 532. There has to be a simpler way of doing this SI. Seriously, it has to be. Okay? You gotta give me just the option of calling out tactic. 5212 wingback. Do I see that? Okay, there we go. Alright, so we just dropped this here. Okay, so or we can just put it like this. 532, right? Oh no, here we go with the nonsense that this game offers sometimes. Gotta put you here first. Anyway, this is one of the annoying bugbears for me. Okay, so you got a 532 like this. It's almost impossible for the 442 to handle this, because the 442's nemesis is actually the 532. The 532 will have the 442 when it runs up against the 532. You have to play the smart game, which is you're taking out the wingers out of the equation, because the wingers will be taken care by these two ball-playing defenders or these two wing backs, right? But where the 532 will excel is you'll pass the ball inside, meaning you'll play narrow instead of playing wide. They use the wing backs to give it the added width during the midfield consolidation phase, and then they play the ball back out to probably here. The best option is going to be a target man and probably maybe even a poacher or target man advance forward, and then you'll be able to take out the 442, because the 442 will not be able to control midfield anymore. The 442 will struggle because it's going to push all its players forward, right? It will leave its 4 at the back, and his wing backs, once they get up the pitch, they've only got 2 defenders left. Those 2 defenders are going to come up against your 2 strikers, and all you got to do is just pump balls into the box and give them problems. Hey Darren, have a good one, man. Have a good day at work. So this is something that you have to bear in mind. So if you're playing against a 4-4-2, what you want to do is you want to remove the 2 wing backs out of the equation, or the full backs. You don't want to ever let them get up the pitch. But there's so many ways the 4-4-2 can punish you. You've got a 4-4-2 like this. I think today we're going to focus on the 4-4-2, because the 4-4-2 is actually a very good tactic in the game. And I recommend for anyone who's beginning this game or is even struggling with this game to master the 4-4-2. Because once you master the 4-4-2, chances are you probably won't need to play another formation in the game. Because you become so good at the 4-4-2 that you'll have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, plan G, plan H, plan I, plan J. Because there's so many plans to go 4-4-2, it just doesn't stop. Okay, let's take a look at this 4-4-2, right? We're playing against a 5-3-2, what do I do? So the 5-3-2 is trying to shut down my flanks. It's trying to get me into trouble. Right. The problem for me now is that the 5-3-2 is going to have players back. So what do I do against a 5-3-2? I need to draw that 5-3-2 even higher up the pitch. See this 5-3-2? The 5-3-2 is only going to be weak if you break this. Because there are 5 in midfield, is going to overpower any team. 4. The thing is, have you ever played against the AI 5-3-2 where it has a lot of possession? It's because nobody's doing anything to break that tactic down, right? He keeps playing the ball in his third, right? So how do you break that tactic down? You have to draw it out. So you have to give it a chance to play. So what we do if I was playing a 5 against a 5-3-2 would be to go narrow. When I go narrow, 2 things are going to happen for me, defensive with wise. Right, first up, my 4-4-2 is going to shoot like this, right? So it's going to have space down the flanks, and nature abhors a vacuum. These 2 guys are going to go up the pitch because they're going to have space down the pitch now. So the wing backs get committed into the attacking transition. This opens up space down the flanks, right? These players will move up the pitch to support the 5-3-2, right? But don't get me wrong, the 5-3-2 still can be quite powerful. Right, because now it's going to commit against your attacks. What would you do? What I would do right now, if I was playing against a 5-3-2, would be to draw it up the pitch, and then immediately hit it over the top. Because you don't want to. The problem when you play against a 5-3-2 or these deep formations is a lot of people play cautious mentality. A lot of people play short passing. A lot of people play conservative football. And when you do that, you give that 5-3-2 a lot of time to defend. Because if you take your time to attack it, it will look like this. It will have all his players back. In fact, it will look like this, right? More often than not. It will look something like this. This is what a 5-3-2 end up looking like. You have all his players back and you can't break it down. So what you need to do against a 5-3-2, if you're playing a 4-4-2, is you're gonna have to draw that team out by opening up the flanks, because their weakness is actually the flanks. It's their strength and also their weakness. Because if they need to score goals, they're gonna have the wing backs up the pitch. Otherwise, they're just gonna have to hoof the balls up. And if they hoof the balls up, it's yours again. So either they control midfield, right, and play you out of the park, or you set the tone of the game, which is you don't want them to control midfield. You want them to go down the flanks, because they're 3 versus your 2. They're gonna take over the game in midfield. So you want to kind of like, it's like playing chess. You're playing a bit of chess with the team. You're trying to draw them into an area of the pitch where you want them to lose the ball. So what I would do against that kind of a situation would be 2 things. So I would go, this guy would, one of these, because this is the advanced forward, right? I would probably have like a situation where I want the ball to move really quickly, right, from back to front. So I would have like maybe an NCD or a ball playing defender. Even this combination at the back can work. A ball playing defender, NCD, and then this guy could be a deep lying playmaker. Would I change my tactic? This is the important thing. I wouldn't change my tactic, but when I design my tactic, I'll be thinking about how I can hit teams on the break. So it will already be in my mind when I create the tactic. See, whenever you create a tactic, you want to be thinking, you want to have as many plans in your tactic as possible, right? For you to switch from plan A to plan B. So plan A could be, I want to keep the ball. So you can do all that with team instructions, right? You don't have to change the tactic itself. So here, I'm creating this 4-4-2 right now. So I got a deep line playmaker, box to box, I got a winger on attack. Yeah, this is nice. With a winger on attack, he's going to get behind. But what if I do something? Something just fell somewhere. I heard that. I think you guys must have heard the sound as well. I don't know what sound that was, man. Okay, it's a really weird sound. Okay, so we've got yeah, maybe this guy will still be a ball winning midfielder on defense. I'll turn this guy into a roaming playmaker on support, right? And then I'll have this inverted winger driving this way, the wing back coming this way. They will attack me. A ball playing defender is going to play one over the top. There's a target man over here. There's a wing back on attack. Going to do the overlap very quickly. There's a wing on attack who's going to cross, but this guy is going to be the danger. Right. So when they attack me, I'll create havoc in their 5-3-2, because the wing back will have a dilemma. My inverted winger is going to be staying wide, right, in my tactic. So he stays wide. When they attack me, I lose the ball. This guy's going to move the ball up. This guy's going to drive centrally, where they are the weakest, because they've got 3 defenders, right, at the back. One wing back, one wing back. So what's going to happen is, as we drive across, instead of pulling them to one side, we drive this way in. We will drag the central midfielder and probably the ball playing defender out of position. So when they are driven out of position, we get more options. So you want to hit them quickly. You don't want to take your time, right? So the most important thing here is your passing style. Slightly moderate tempo, extremely wide or focus play down the flanks. It means that every time you get the ball, it goes down the flanks. Everybody is very, very wide. Because you're playing narrow, this is how you think. You see, when you create your tactic, you have to start thinking about your option A, your option B, because you're now thinking about how it plays against another tactic. So this is one of the reasons why when people ask me for tips on playing against specific formations, it's one of the hardest questions to answer, because it presupposes you already know how good your own tactic is and whether you got different plans in your tactic. So right now, with this 1-4-4-2, I'm going to go really narrow, because this is the thing, right? It doesn't make, some of you probably won't make sense. I want the ball to go inside. instead of going outside. So when you go narrow, the ball goes in as a priority instead of going out. So now I want it to go in because I got a playmaker here. Right? This guy can be a ball playing defense, ball winning midfielder. He can even be a deep line playmaker. It doesn't really matter because if you play that kind of a narrow setup, right? You know, you have two of these you got a double playmaker combination. Both of them can trigger the counter. So now both of these players can trigger the counter. I don't get the box to box that I want because I don't want a box to box going up and down, leaving us open. I want to be compact and I want to hit them very hard. So now I got inverted winger, I got wing back going this way, I got target, I got advanced forward. All I need is passing instructions. I can even play this on so many different settings to keep the ball. But I have a plan A, plan B, and a plan C within this one tactic. So if I were to play now against a 5-3-2, all I got to do is I want to drag that 5-3-2 out of position, right? Okay. We go narrow. Wingbacks are now coming down the flanks. Very good. Okay, now I got my passing instructions that hoof the ball up very quickly, pass into space, sporadically we shall use it, but this is more important. Direct and tempo. Good enough. It has taken care of the way I pass the ball. I got these two players here who will do it. What if you wanted to be a bit more flashy with your tactic and you don't want everybody else to be taking risks? Yeah, that's possible. Just go up to this guy and say, hey dude, don't do anything funny. Just make sure that you work with you don't try anything, like long passes across the pitch. You just make sure that everything is kept really simple. And if you want to cross, son, do it early. Don't do it late. Yeah, don't go all the way down the flanks and make a cross and go. We don't need that. We just want you to do it a bit earlier. So now I've got a slightly different configuration. So the thing is here, this is when I play against a 5-3-2 with a 4-4-2. So now I'm dragging them out and I'm hitting them quickly. What if I wanted to, oh man, I'm better than this other team. I'm so much better than the other team. What I'm going to do is I refuse to let the 5-3-2 out. You can do that as well. You see, the thing here is what you can do with your tactic against another tactic is a function of your own players. That's it. Right. If I had a poor team, I had a really poor team, I'll play like this. That means I'm happy with 30% possession, 20% possession. I'm hitting one over the top and I'm hoping to sneak in and I'm hoping to FM the opposition. If I'm playing against a really good team, okay, that's what I do. If I am a very good team, then maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe that's a bit too much. It's like no ambition, man. Okay, so I'm a really good team. Can I do this can I do the same thing with a really good team? Okay. Yes, you can. Change his role. Maybe you have a very good team, you can play this as a complete four. Now he's roaming. Your target man still works. Everything else still works. But what can I do? Now ignore mentality, guys. Okay. The one thing I don't care about in this game is mentality. Alright, you can keep the pressing urgency as more urgent. Doesn't really matter. You can do a split block, you can choose not to. I personally prefer not to, but this is if you have doubts, right, more urgent is always better than max or this, because if I do it like minimum, then the players are going to come and then we are looking at keeping the channels. But if now I'm playing very high up the pitch, then I'm thinking to myself, if I was playing that deep game, this is okay, but now I want to go camping, right? So let's not have everybody chasing after the players, because then if I chase after them and they hoof the ball, then I don't really have players in the other spaces to pick up the loose balls, right? So because I'm a good team, I'll do it this way. Now I'm a good team as well. I'll go higher. I'll draw them into my half. Okay, high line of engagement, high defensive line. I'll use the offside trap. Instead of playing more direct now, I can play more direct. There is nothing to say we can't play. Now I'm going to drop my tempo because I'm a good team. I'll wait for the boys to get me into play. I'm also going to play wider because I want to stretch the team, because I am a good team. I can pass the ball. These are the questions you ask yourself when you want to change your width and if you want to play on low tempo. It's not something you do automatically. When you play on low tempo, what's going to happen is, well, this is important stuff, man. When you play on low tempo, your players are gonna get up the pitch, but they're not gonna be running up there. You don't have a bloody discount going on where they can buy so many things cheap. I guess you don't have a crazy rush for buying stuff. Okay. So when you play on low tempo, you're slowing the game down. But you're a good team. You can slow the game down because you can get your players into position. What you're doing on low tempo when you play direct is you're using the pace of the ball to move a team around. You're creating switches of play with your players in position already. This is the important part. This is why I love playing low tempo, direct, wide against weaker teams, because weaker teams eventually succumb to the switching of the play. Yes, that was so important. I had to say it very, very slowly. Okay, so now we come back to this. Slightly more direct, pass into space. If I'm going to go camping, I will never pass into space. I will play out a defense. And then I might even work ball into box. But this, for your information, doesn't need to be the case. You can actually go to individual players and tell them to shoot less or cross less to influence the shoot less, take fewer risks, whatever. Shoot less is probably the one you want to aim for. Okay. You can have work ball into box, or you can opt not to. But you choose. I'm now moving the team around and looking for opportunities. And guess what? For these two boys in the middle of the park can do that. I got this inverted winger running through off the target man. I've got this wing back doing the overlap. Do I need then I can leave it like this, distribute to the flanks. That's fine. I can even would I counter press? Now this other thing about tactics. So when you go and play a tactic, you're playing against you. Now I'm playing against a team that's very defensive. They're playing with a 5-3-2 to sting back. They don't want to come out of their half. You got to drag them from left to right. You got to move that team around. So option A is you play narrow. Option B is if you play narrow, right? If they do attack, your boys are going to track all the way back. It can still work. It can still work. Because you see, if you play narrow, you still got slightly direct, you still got lower, you still got wide, and you still got your players running into those spaces. Bobbling defender, it still works. Now you play higher up the pitch. You're just going camping. So when they do attack you, you're dropped all the way back, and now you're going to counter attack. Which brings me to my last point here. Mentality is incidental. It's up to you. Okay, for me, if I want to play on a higher mentality, it means I want to move the ball up the pitch quickly, and I'm willing to take risks doing it. Positive is the golden mean in the entire game. When in doubt, play positive or play balance, but I prefer you to play positive. At least the ball goes up quickly. Right. If you want to play cautious or defensive, it's because you don't take chances with the ball. So if you are willing to see the ball come back at you, then play cautious and defensive. But I would recommend playing with more attacking systems like a 4-2-4 and going cautious with that than I would using a 4-4-2. All right, let me have a bit of water. So if you are playing against a 4-4-2, the 4-4-2s have so many permutations. You got to be careful of the 4-4-2's permutations. It's just a simple bulk basic 4-4-2. You also have wing-based 4-4-2s, which is like wingers. This is also a wing-based 4-4-2, but we're doing this kind of a movement. Right, we got one player like doing an iron robin, basically, midfield, driving at teams. Then we got another wing back going. So we're creating a lot of pressure down their left flank. Then you have 4-4-2s, which are more like Leicester City's 4-4-2s, right? We have like here, we would have, I can't remember the formation now. I think it was a wide midfielder. This is the Riyad Mahrez role. Here it wouldn't be saying he'll be sitting narrower, he'll be roaming from position, he'll be taking more risks, he'll be dribbling more, he'll be cutting inside with the ball. Yeah, this is the Riyad Mahrez rule. So basically, and then we would ask him to there's also a man marking that you have to get him to do as well. Take it this way, and then and the play. Did they have a playmaker somewhere? Or is this one, was he a white playmaker? Can't really remember, right? So let's assume we had a white midfielder here doing that. Now we'll make him into a white playmaker, exactly doing the same things. White playmaker. Then what we'll do here on the other flank, imagine you want to do something different, right? You have this guy attacking this way, then you put a pressing forward here on attack, and you can have a pressing forward here on support. You can have a pressing forward here on attack. You can have a box-to-box midfielder here. Now we can have a fullback on support. Here we can have another fullback, or maybe even a wingback on defense. So all we do, this is another 4-4-2, slightly different, more of a counter-attacking 4-4, more a counter-attacking 4-4-2. Here, this role probably a central midfield or ball-winning midfield on defense. Okay, so we get a white playmaker coming here. He's got the support of a wingback on defense. It's probably going to be just here during the overlaps. He's doing most of the driving runs through the middle, and then he's going to try and release. You could play a winger here to release with. Right, so there's a winger here who's where you have a winger here. This winger is going to attack the flanks this way, and then you got a fullback who is not too adventurous. He's just going to be around in this area. So this is an attack. There's a lot more structure. It doesn't have too many moving parts. It just has these two pressing forwards in front. They are going to be playing off the shoulder of the last two men, and it's just using one player to look and create chances. Is this a good thing? No, it's not. It's just a very safe 4-4-2, very counter-attacking 4-4-2 that would be played on a higher tempo. Again, played fairly narrow in the attacking transition, or maybe slightly wide. Yeah, because you got a wing. I want to use the winger to attack the flanks. So we go wide here because we want him to we want everybody to look for this winger on attack. So he's going to stretch play, get down the flanks with a pressing forward and support. Defenders will be dragged into this zone, and then we'll have a white playmaker who's been told to sit narrow, roam from position, done all those things, and then what he's going to do is direct passing. We can change this to direct passing if I go to this. Come in here, go in here. All the hoops I got to bounce through just to make him do direct passing, and then we can have the rest of the team. Yeah, we can have the rest of the team play shorter. Only he does direct. This guy will do direct. This guy will play short. This guy will play short. This guy will play direct. Okay, so this guy plays direct. So now I'm using creative passing instructions to only get some players to do this, so that we ensure that the wide midfielder gets the ball. He goes this way. Of course, you can be a bit more adventurous by turning this guy. You can play him as a wingback support, right? But I don't want him to go down the flanks. Basically, I don't want to see the overlap. I just want to see him hanging around this area. It's possible. But you see, the 4-4-2 has a lot of permutations. Then you can also play him as an inverted wingback on support. In this particular case, we can even do this. Inverted wingback attack going this way. White playmaker on attack going this way. We have a ball-winning midfielder. So you see, when you play a 4-4-2 against a 4-4-2, yeah, a Brighton and Mahrez, right, got Spurs. A white midfielder and a white playmaker on the flanks, correct. They had one white, this is the white midfielder here. If I'm not mistaken, I designed him to be the white midfielder, and I designed this guy to be the white playmaker on attack. The Leicester City 4-4-2. Right. This is how I can't remember this role though. He was a wingback on support or a fullback on support. So this guy's gonna look here. It's a very different kind of a tactic, because this guy's gonna be driving through the middle, and this guy's gonna be looking for chances to unlock that cross diagonals. Right. But can it work? Right. It all depends on the quality of the players that you have in your system, and you're looking at using the flanks here, and unlocking players. They would compress play, and then they would hit teams over the top. A lot of the times, a lot of their goals were simple enough counter-attacking goals. So the 4-4-2 has many permutations. So when you play against the 4-4-2, you need to look at the roles and duties on the 4-4-2 to try and appreciate how that 4-4-2 is going to be attacking you, which is very, very important. Fullback on support, and I have to look back on my own Leicester City replication because it was very accurate. In fact, when I did the Leicester City at replication in 2016, I loved it so much because it was so accurate. I enjoyed it. And I actually played it for a while with Leicester City. But the 4-4-2 is very, 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 very unique. Now, if you play a 4-4-2 like this, it's straightforward. And then you've got other 4-4-2s as well that you got to understand. So when you see, like, for example, let's say you're playing against the 4-4-2 and you see this happening. Somebody decided that he wants to be smart. This is smart. All right, let's see if this is even remotely possible first. Inverted wingback, when they say inverted wingback, this guy is going to be in this area. This guy will be given the overlap. So he is going to drive through the middle or he's going to overlap. Right? And then you've got two pressing forwards on attack. Maybe even a target man and a pressing forward attack. Now you've got, this is like a 4-4-2 that's got a lot of central attacking thrust, right? Everything is happening through the center. During the transition in midfield, this guy is going to drift here. This guy is going to drift here. This guy is going to drift here. Or go around. Right? This guy is going to drift here or go around. Depending on the space. So, when you see inverted wingbacks in any tactic, immediately high tempo, direct passing, pass into space. Make sure you're playing with a attack duty. That's all. Make sure that you have an attack duty on the flanks. It can be a winger on attack. It can be a inverted winger on attack. It's one of these two roles. If you're playing a 4-1-2-3, then it has to be an inverted winger on attack or an inside forward on attack. Whatever it is, if you ever see anybody or you see the AI playing with inverted wingbacks, immediately high tempo, pass into space, winger on attack, or inside forward on attack, or inverted winger on attack. The reason is very simple. When you see a tactic that comes with a 4-4-2 or inverted wingbacks in its formation, it doesn't have, it either requires players with tremendous physical attributes and mental attributes to control that zone, that area, right? It's a big zone that they have to control, right? So this entire zone is some place that he's going, because he's going to end up in these positions. So his responsibility is also over here. So can you imagine if you have a player who's going to drift into this entire zone when you have the ball and is also responsible for defending this entire zone? So if he's here, he's got to get back here. It's the reason why you play high tempo, direct passing, pass into space. You play with those roles. If you want to attack any tactic that is got wingbacks on it, okay, anytime you see a formation like a 4-1-2-3 or a 3-5-2 or any formation that's got wingbacks on attack, right? And you notice, right, when they are attacking you, it's like they've got only two defenders left. You want to play a more direct style of play against that tactic, because what you want to do is you want to have attack duties attacking the space. If you have like a support duty, then he's going to wait for players to come to him. By the time the players get to him, your crosses are going to get blocked and you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, the right back was more attacking, right? One of the fullbacks was more attacking in the Leicester system because there are these two wide midfielders coming like that. One of the fullbacks was always doing the overlapping run. In this tactic, when you create a Leicester City replication, it's either the left back or the right back. It's really entirely up to you. But it's a 4-4-2 that still works on FM20. Right, so yeah, I will be doing more of those again. I'll be doing a replication of Bayern Munich, right? I think this week. Maybe on today is Wednesday. We have to do the replication for Bayern Munich on Friday, and then we will do a replication for Leicester after that. We'll do as many of them as we can because a lot of requests now from Discord, and I want to. This one reasons why I'm prioritizing a lot of the videos for Discord now. So we'll do that. We'll do that very soon. So, today's video is specifically only about the 442, right? So we're gonna discuss the 442 and its permutations and what you can do with a 442. Because if you want to understand how to defend against a formation, you gotta learn how to play that formation first. It's like, how do you know how to stop a Ferrari if you have never been in a Ferrari? You won't know. You can only guess, right? You as a driver of a car, you know what you can do. So you know every single trick in the book, right? You know what you're capable of. So that's the thing about formations. It's one of the reasons why they are my favorite thing in the whole game. I mean, apart from training, of course, but they are. And the third favorite thing I have in the whole game is this Discord community that we've taken 4 years to grow. And I'm hoping that it continues to grow. So, okay. So do you have any questions? You want to do one on Hapel's final? Yeah, we'll do a lot of... definitely we're going to be doing a heck of a lot more of these replications, man. So guys, do we have any questions? Because I know the 442 is I know that you guys are expecting like quick tips and tricks on every single formation. It doesn't work that way. I need to explain the formations to you, what's possible and how to play against them. So if you played against a 442, how would you defend? Very simple. The strength of a 442 is his opposition wingbacks. It's his wingbacks. That is the strength of the 442. Then you also have to worry about the strikers it has, right? Are they using target men? So whenever you see a formation like a 442 come up against you, the first thing you look for is two things. The first thing you look for, the first few things you look for, idiot, okay, is your strike pair. Are they using an advanced forward and a target man combination, or any target man or any advanced forward? The moment you see target man or advanced forward in there, it means it's trying to hit you on the break. Then look at the second thing. Look for the positions you can take, the places where they can hit you from the players that can do that hitting on the break. They're gonna be the defenders. If they're the defenders, 100% I can confirm to you there's gonna be a ball over the top in the game, right? So you're looking for ball playing defenders and no nonsense and low defenders. That's what you're looking for. So that's the biggest clue you're gonna get. So when you play against a system like that, what do? You can't be too high. You want to make sure that you keep the ball most of the time. You also want to make sure that you don't play with, if you're going to be playing with a high line, right? You observe the first few transitions. When they hit you over the top, are your defenders stepping forward to get the ball? If they are stepping forward, meaning they're moving off their defensive line to get the ball, you're probably too deep. Your line of engagement is too deep, right? So you want to adjust your line of engagement. You know, move your line of engagement slightly higher so that it's just nice. So when they hit the ball over the top, your defender doesn't have to wait for the ball because if the target man gets to the ball and he has time to control the ball, then it's not ideal. What you want are your defenders in a position or your midfielders in a position to win the second ball. So you're looking against the 442, that's what you're looking for. So you're looking for these telltale signs, whether it's a one over the top. Now, sometimes you don't see target men, sometimes you don't see ball playing defenders. That's when you start going, okay, this may be one of those like possession-centric ones. Are they using wingers then? If they're using wingers, then you know a winger on attack is going to be like a second striker. Then you got to look out for somebody else. Where are the goals coming from now? Then, okay, so how do you handle this? Winger, if there's an attack duty coming at you, you either attack that flank so that you force that winger back there. Because you see, this is a beautiful thing, right? Okay, look, I'll give you this other one, right? Okay, let's assume this is a winger on attack, right? Okay, assume I'm facing a 4-4-2 that's attacking me like this. Maybe here's a wing back on support, which is very likely. Okay, wing back on support, winger on attack. Okay, if I see this. Yeah, I have most people have two options, right? Oh, the guy is attacking me. I'm going to put my duty on mode to make him more defensive. Okay, which means your player is going to pick up yellow cards. Okay. there's a chance your player is going to pick up yellow cards. Why? Because he's defending against a guy who's running at him like a choo-choo train, right? So what do? I love to attack that flank. Because the moment I see a winger attacking me, guess what I'm going to do? I'm attacking that flank. So I make sure that the brunt of my attack is going down that flank. So I might want to make sure that we focus play down the left, right? Which is the opposite of let's assume this is a winger attack. So where do I focus my play? I might focus my play down the right. I have I might change my tactics slightly. I'll make sure that this deep line playmaker can do cross diagonals. This guy can do a diagonal. So this guy, I'm going to ask him to switch ball to other flank. And I'll attack him down the flanks. I'll always be looking to see that my tactic is attacking him down the flanks. Maybe I'll put an inverted winger on attack down this flank. So assume now I'm playing against this, right? So and I'm using my favorite, I'm using one of my favorite tactics, which is this. Okay, so I'm using this, right? So I will make sure that remember the winger attack was on the left flank, right? So I'll play inverted wing on attack here. I'll put maybe, or I can play inside forward and attack, and then I put like a inverted wing on support here. Here's a advanced playmaker on support. This could be a Carrello on support. Now what happens is here in this tactic is that winger on attack is gonna have to defend this guy, this inside forward, because I will have all my players switching ball to this side. So all my attacks are gonna be very simple. Right? This guy is told to cross ball, far post. So whenever he gets the ball, you know where he's crossing? He's not crossing anywhere else. He's not crossing to this guy. He's crossing to this guy. When it's a far post, you're crossing to this player. So that winger on attack now is gonna be forced. Either the winger on attack is to come back and help his team defend, or their fullback will pick up a yellow card. And when their fullback picks up a yellow card, it's good times. Hey man, how are you, Billy? I'm watching whilst working from home. Oh, sweet. 4-4-2 with double DMs, 2 AMCs up against them, I'll go wide around there. So 4-4-2 with double DMs. Oh yeah, that one. That's the annoying one. Go around them. Okay. This tactic, right? 4-4-2 double DM. Yeah, you have to make. I made this tactic before, right? This double DM tactic, you got to go low tempo. You got to play wide. You got to drag that defensive pairing around. This defensive pairing, you can't go through the middle. It's just not going to work. So what you're going to have to do is going to have to use the flanks. So normally what I like to do is, the thing here is this, right? You don't have to play fairly wide, right? You don't have to. Or wide, fairly wide, but this is what you want to do. I'm talking about, you don't have to play extremely wide, rather. You can play wide, right? You can start off playing safe. Like this, very narrow. So your boys are pretty narrow, right? They're moving the ball. See, there are two ways of doing this. I love both ways. The first way is you're attacking narrow, but you're using rolls that stay wide. So your whole team is narrow, right? But you are using maybe an inverted winger here. Maybe I don't know what you're using in your tactic. It could be a 4-1. So let's say you're playing this formation. Will you just behave? Okay. All right. So play a 4-4-2 DM, sitting back, and I want to break it down. What do I do? AMCs are useless in that formation because AMC can't influence the game. He's got 2 DMs inside it. So I will drag them around. But what I'll tell this guy to do is stay wide. I'll tell this guy to attack arrow. So I got this guy. They can both stay. They can both start from wider positions if you wanted. Okay. Now then I will go direct. I go narrow, lower my tempo. I go like direct, lower my tempo, and move them, right? I'm keeping the ball on a lower tempo, but I'll move the team left and right. Left and right. Of course, I find that it's still, I need to stretch them even more. That means my players have to go even further wide, I go wider. And I'll go on low tempo, I still maintain a low tempo. Of course, I'll have like one guy. This guy will probably be a CM on attack though. CM on attack. Right. This guy is CM on attack or attacking playmaker, more likely. Yeah, attacking playmaker on attack. This guy will probably be a box-to-box midfielder, maybe. Okay, so I get these two driving right through. So this guy is looking to create chances. So I'm always looking to drag the team around and get one guy inside the pocket. This guy into the pocket. Or you can even do double players into the pocket. And in that case, AP on support, right? Or AP on attack, so it can work. But here then I will be using this guy more like a complete forward. It's a bit more like liquid, right? So I'll keep the ball. I'm using these two roles to attack them, to attack the spaces that I am hoping to create. So the more important thing is whether I can get this. You must make sure this guy is always, it's possible for him to get the ball. So this overlap is very important. You're gonna have to like work the ball back, which is one of the reasons why I like to play attack narrow, right? This is the reason why I like to play fairly narrow, because when I play fairly narrow, passes are gonna go inside. If I play fairly wide, passes are always gonna go wide first as a priority. If you play fairly narrow, passes are gonna go inside as a priority. So if you want to, I would bypass the two DMs 100%. Whenever you have two DMs against you, you bypass them. You don't go through the middle. It's not going to work. I mean, you can, but then you're playing that game of chicken, right? You're trying to see whether they can get you sent off, which is something that can also work. Yeah, if you like that kind of a game, which I do sometimes. I love that kind of a game quite a lot, actually. Trying to get them sent off is hallelujah. I love sending players off. Yeah. All right, guys. Okay, so got time for a few more questions. My kids are coming home, and then we will do this again in about 4 hours or 3 hours. 3 hours and some bits. So in 3 hours and some bits, we'll do part 2 of this. We'll do another formation. We'll do a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-4-1-1. 4-4-1-1 used to give me problems when I used the 4. Okay, we'll do a 4-1-2-2-1 versus of it's I think 4-4-1-1, right? Okay. I know why it's giving you trouble. Because a 4-4-1-1 has got players in the midfield strata. So you gotta put your players in between their players, so to speak. My kids are coming home, so we'll do that next, right? So what we'll do is we'll talk about the 4-4-1-1 versus the 4-1-2-2-1 later. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for popping in today. Fantastic. It's a great way to start this off. I mean, we have 5 of you, which is great, and we will do more of these discussions, right? And then we'll expand on these more and more as we go. And then it's because it's hard for me to go into a game and specifically find specific games for you. I was thinking of doing that, like, maybe I'm playing against a 5-1-2-2-1. What do I do against a 5-1-2-2-1? And I was thinking, yeah, but not all players are equal. Like, what do I do when the 5-1-2-2-1 or the 5-2-3 is a very good team, which has happened to me. I remember Inter Milan versus my AC Milan side. They came with a 5-2-3 and they're a really good team. And I was like, what am I going to do against this team? They're not going to come up, but they're good enough to defend. So it's situational against the teams that you might face. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go very quickly get the house, or rather, I'm basically getting the house ready for the arrival of the children, which is gonna be, that's the first warning bell that my kids are almost home. All right, so guys, I want to thank everybody for coming in. We'll do this again in 3 hours, right? Once my kids go to sleep. So I'll see you very, very soon. You guys stay safe. Catch up with you soon.